Yep, you're seeing it right. We're setting up for a Will It Drag video. Stay tuned. Gun guy clicks. You know, clicks, those petty things that you participated in when you were in grade school and high school. They exist in the gun world. And we all know they exist, like Glock versus 1911 or 9mm versus 45 or AR versus AK. But I would throw right in there with that list gun lube. And what I mean by that is there are some fanatical people out there when it comes to this sort of stuff. There are really two types of gun people when we're talking about gun lube. People that are very hardcore, maybe even brand myopic, I would say, when it comes to the products that they use. And then you've got the other camp, which are the people that don't really care. They don't give a crap. As long as it's slippery, it could be the grease off of breakfast. And it's going in their gun, which actually bacon grease works pretty good. But that aside, today we're going to be looking at a product from my friends at Occam Defense. This is the Occam Lube kit, and I actually have the DIY kit here that we're going to hop into here in a minute. But this is a grease system. These ones are preloaded. And you can see the options that they have here for the grease side of it are red, white, black, magic, grease. And the other pack that I'm going to hop into here in a minute is going to be the DIY kit, which is basically the hardware. And then you can put whatever it is that you care to put into it. It looks like the guys at Occam Defense are more leaning towards the grease packs, which is fine. I've used grease many times before, especially in hot climates and stuff like that. It does great work. I'm more of an oil guy, and we'll get to that here in a second. They did include, and this is not the packaging, a DIY grease fill kit, which we'll have some fun here in a minute. But I wanted to focus on the heart of the system, which is these guys right here. So this is a self-contained unit. And this is very similar for both the grease and the oil application kits. But what this gives you is a self-contained unit here that can bounce around, be smashed around inside of your equipment, in your go bag, in your truck, in whatever environment you're using it in your workbench, and not make a big mess, but still be readily available and also usable. So like I said, this system is adaptable depending on whether you use a grease, a lube, whatever product you choose to use, you can put in this thing. This is just the hardware. So I'm going to go over to the bench, fill it with some of the stuff that I prefer to use. So what I've gone ahead and done, as you can see here, is loaded the main reservoir here with this stuff. This is LPS2. It is an oil-based lubricant. And I am an oil user through and through because I am located in Ohio. While I really, really like the properties of grease, in the wintertime it's just not as conducive because that stuff congeals up really, really solid and can cause functionality issues. So I'm an oil user through and through. However, one of the main issues I take with the LPS Labs presentation of their stuff is its aerosol can. So we all know that aerosol cans can be an issue, especially in the really cold temperatures when the cans are getting low. So this is a perfect timing for us to do something with the Occam Lube DIY kit because it's starting to get cold here in Ohio. Now these DIY kits will work with grease-based lubricants as well. However, in this instance, we are going to be using the oil one because I'm an oil guy. But what we can see here is we have a main receptacle. There is a cap that comes with it that keeps it from linking. Lure lock there. And we also have the lure lock adapter. So we go ahead and that right there. Go ahead and take this apart so you guys can see what's going on here. You can see self-contained. We have a syringe with a cap just like the other one. We have an end cap here that keeps the whole thing sealed. We're going to use that here in a second. If we pour it out, we have a syringe tip, and actually it's fine enough that you could technically stab yourself with it if you care to, but it's not like sharp. We'll set that aside for a second, and then if we look inside there, we have a syringe bottom and the plunger. So we'll set this aside. We're going to break open our loading syringe here, and this again, lure lock system. Right like that, about spilled my lube. And all we're going to do is go ahead, push the air out of it, and screw this right on to the top. Flip it upside down and just go ahead and pull. And that should be enough for today's demonstration. But go ahead and pull this thing off right like that. Keep the lure lock on the end. Take our loading syringe, or our final syringe, excuse me, right like that. And we're gonna put about 1.5 cc's in this guy. And a half. Cap back on. Drop our syringe back inside there. Cap on it, our plunger. And now this is ready to go inside of our gear bag. This cannot spill, this cannot leak, and this is ready for use. This will do, I mean, an entire training class, one of these syringes. So what that translates to, also with that tiny little tip on there, is that I don't even have to open the action on this Scorpion here. I can just go right for the extractor, get that grease in that extractor right there. Don't have to even open up the action back here. I can hit it. I can attack the extractor right here and get some lube in that channel without ever having to take it apart. I can get in here. Cam pin's a little bit easier, obviously, to get to. But even if I wanted to put some in here on the firing pin. So if it was me and I was setting up a kit that had lubricant in it, this is probably how I would set it up, but that's not what we're doing here today. Today, this is testing. So we're just gonna do that right there, just kind of put them in there like that. And of course, you know, you're gonna have other stuff inside this thing as well. So we gotta make sure that we have other stuff inside that thing as well. And we're just gonna, you know, zipper that up real quick. So I don't think that this will be an issue, but we're gonna go ahead and wire these guys shut. This is a VanQuest bag, so it shouldn't be a problem, but you never know. We wanna make sure that our test results are not tainted in any way by the performance of other products. You know, one more piece. Okay, so it's clearly a little bit overzealous on the duct tape for this guy. It was totally unnecessary. I mean, but again, this was not a test of the VanQuest bag. This was a test of the contents. A rather silly test of the contents, I might add. All right, moment of truth, guys. Let's see. Did we have any leakage in here? And I don't even think any of them came apart. You can clearly see that there was plenty of tussle going on in there. This guy looks fine. This guy looks fine. That's another one of these are both the white lithium, all intact. This looks like Black Magic, intact. This is an oil one that I did myself, intact. Another Black Magic. Another oil one I did myself. This one even had an air bubble in it, and you would expect that to maybe do like an embolism type thing. It would be much more prone to breakage as well. Nope. This is another oil one I did myself. It clearly has a bubble in there as well. Now this is dislodged a little bit right here, but as you can see, it's still positively locked up. Let's get in here. And these guys, these guys were up against the thing, no breakage, no leakage whatsoever. I mean, check that out. I'm actually kind of impressed. I was expecting at least a breakage. So I'm not saying that this system is infallible by any stretch of the imagination, but I will say this, that it's pretty good on the leak prevention side of things. I'm not saying that it's leak proof, but I think this is evidence that you're gonna have to do something pretty stupid to get it to leak. So user error would probably be the only way that this is gonna be like you didn't tighten one of these things down or something like that. But anyway, that is our look at the Occam Defense Lube Kit. Both the DIY and the self-contained, straight from them. So thanks for tuning in to the VSO Gun Channel. Hopefully you guys had a good time watching this video, and hopefully we'll see you guys on a future video. Look at it, it's got figments in it. Just sitting here, mind my own business, greasing my PSL ever so slightly. And back together. I don't know how you argue. I mean, probably one of the dumbest tests I've ever done, but hey, I mean, yeah, this is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with this. In fact, we're just gonna put all this right back in there, right like that. Zipper right back up.